There'll be no Simon and Garfunkel in this house, young man. Okay, let's try that again. Welcome back to the Animated Arcade. I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
And we've got a guest this week. Introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, it's Cole.
Hello, Cole. It's so nice of you to join us.
Oh, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. Cole's an old friend of the show. You might have seen him in the comments section.
You might have seen him in the mailbag. Heard him in the heard his words typed, spoken by me in the mailbag.
Yeah. Every time I sit down to write a comment, I know I'm gonna hear your beautiful voice read those words back to me. It was so hard, like when you guys started your podcast, John basically cornered me and said, "You're never gonna be on this podcast."
I've been known to do that.
Don't even get your hopes up.
That's why we haven't had any guests yet.
Yeah.
Until now, which is episode 40 of both this show and the show we're reviewing this week, the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, and The Legend of Zelda, in its air date order. Because this is a video game cartoon podcast where we watch, review, riff on, and share trivia about video game cartoons. And if Aaron had his way, related media.
Yes.
But we'll see.
I just want to watch the Mario theater show on Broadway and review it.
I want to watch that Mario on Ice where Luigi blows up a Koopa Troopa with a bazooka. Did you ever see that?
No.
Well,
why aren't we doing that?
Yeah. That's definitely one of the things we didn't watch was Mario.
no, that's true. Yeah, Cole kind of came into this one blind. He knew he wanted to be here for the live action segment, and he never once decided to see which cartoon it was paired with.
Yeah. I'm just a very incurious person, as you could tell from the comments.
Yeah.
I don't really engage in the subject matter.
No, you're writing your own narrative, and we're fitting into it.
Yes.
But the episodes we're watching today, the episode, I should say, with both parts, originally aired October 27th, 1989. And if you want to watch the episodes we're watching today, the Zelda cartoon can be found on the Wild Brain Superheroes YouTube channel.
Cole, how else can we watch it? Do you know? This is putting you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
You can buy the DVDs.
You can buy the DVDs. You could go down to the downstairs and turn on the Nintendo Switch and just go to the YouTube that's already playing Mario and sit down with your 3-year-old and watch it with him.
That's true.
That's typically how I get my Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, well, it's a good way to steer your kid away from watching those Russian content farms.
Oh my god, that, legitimately in the last week, that stuff we had to figure out YouTube Kids, because the boy started stealing his mom's phone, and she's on Pinterest or on Instagram or whatever, and those link off to YouTube, and he just worms his way into that brain rot. And it's like, you know that Wikipedia game where it takes 3 links to get to Hitler?
Yeah.
Well, my boy
I only play the one that goes to
screen
Jesus myself. But I know the game you're playing.
I only do the one that goes to Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh, also good.
Yeah, he perfected his hacking skills. It just takes 3 touches of his innocent little finger on the screen, and he goes straight to Spider-Man, Elsa, brain rot. They must be a chip inside smartphones. I can tell if you're like a toddler, it just furnishes that stuff.
Yeah, you find it. You know, we say that parents are computer illiterate, but no, it's the kids are mutants.
Yeah. Well, he perfected his hacking skills, raking his fingers over my laptop keyboard, so when I'd open it up, the screen wouldn't work, the touchpad wouldn't work, it would be unlocked, where you'd be just typing with the right hand, you get an 8753, like, what the hell? Yeah. And then you gotta go to your other computer to figure out how to...
Oh, yeah. He'll be sitting at his desk with his shades. Yeah. I'm in. But no, it's amazing the stuff that gets on, even on YouTube Kids. Yeah. Like, how many times my cousin would be watching and I'll see Friday Night Funkin'. And it'll be like the Sonic.exe with the bleeding eyes. And it's like, can't we just go over there, put on Bluey or something for the kids. Don't let them watch this garbage.
You've just gotten soft with your old age. Little kids of
it
3
happens.
And 4
it's an old
need
age
a little bit of edge.
I know, but they have to earn it. This is handing it to them on a silver platter. We had to sneak furtive glances at the scarier channels before your mom comes back in the room and you flip it back to YTV.
Or try to sneak out of the room late at night to hide behind the couch for watching whatever your parents watch.
Keep the couch right against the wall, thank you.
I think lots of kids have their scary movie moment doing that. For me, it was the movie Willow, when everybody got turned into frickin' pigs. That, like, it's just fun little romp with this little guy and Val Kilmer, and they got swords, and and it's exciting, and then everybody's getting twisted into pigs, and lightning striking, and the witch is laughing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just trembling, and my parents, probably unaware that I crawled between the love seat and the couch.
It happens.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you're more afraid of what they're going to do to you than...
Yeah, well, if they find out you're awake.
And it's odd that we get onto the topic of like very, very early life traumas that lead you into different developments. And one of my really early life experiences was the Mario show. I was a little kid, and I think this was one of the original air date episodes that was on TV for real in '89.
Okay.
Because this happened when I lived at a house that we moved away from in 1990.
Oh.
And so I was like a toddler grade kid, and we went over to a neighbor across the alley's place called Grandma Audie. And she just like one day magically walked over to her old wooden, those TVs from the 60s that are all
in the wooden cabinet.
Yeah, she turns that on. She's like, "Oh, I think you'll like this." And it just starts playing a Mario episode from the beginning.
Yep.
It's perfect timing. I sit my little butt down. I watch it, and I remember the Mario Brothers stuff. So I didn't even see like cartoon. My first on-TV experience of the Mario Brothers is Captain Lou. And so I watched it and I was spellbound.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it trapped in my brain. And as we were watching it today, even the stuff my little 4-year-old brain saw was like, oh yeah, that's how it is. And the thing is that I never watched another episode ever again after that, because it was at my across the alley's neighbor's house.
It's just this magical thing you saw on TV at a relative's house or a neighbor's house that you didn't know how to find.
Yeah.
And by the time you're old enough to figure that out, you've forgotten.
And it was like it was such an early experience for me to like develop a want to watch another episode of something. I'd never been, because I was just like a little kid that played with my toys in the sandbox. I wasn't a TV kid, and that one like hooked me. Oh, yeah. And of course, like that's in the era of like all the Deke cartoons. So
yeah,
like
it was the golden age of Deke.
Oh
yeah,
but yeah, it's like for me where. Say 4 or 5 years after that, YTV airs it as like 7 a.m. crack filling.
Yeah.
In the summer. And I usually would only see that if I was staying over at my friend Mike's place, because we'd be up watching TV that late because he had a single mom. She was still asleep. My parents, one of them would always be up. I'd walk in the living room, they'd point back to my room, and I walk back to my room. It's like it's 7 a.m, go back to bed. But that's when I remember, seeing the Mario cartoon and then forgetting it existed for 10 years until 2003 when it was on Yahoo Kids.
And Aaron?
I remember forgetting it.
Yeah. It happens.
So I think we went over this. I have a base memory of some of the live action stuff, some of the cartoon. There's been a few times where, like we've been watching, it's like, I know I've seen this episode.
Yeah.
Like start to finish, I know I've seen this episode.
Well, it's
except for Club Mario. No. I've never seen Club Mario until yesterday.
No, I sort of sprung that on you. Well, it's like, it's funny because, I remember the Zelda cartoon and I remember the live action. Even as a kid, the Mario cartoon was forgettable slot.
Yeah.
Which you can also watch on Amazon Prime and the N-Circle TV app if you have an Amazon or Fire Stick or Roku device.
Ooh.
So, do we want to get into the live action segment?
I think I'm ready to get into the live action.
Is there any other preamble we need? Or just hop to it?
I think that we've gone over Cole's history with the Mario cartoon.
Yeah. Sounds good.
All right.
Press the button.
We're the Mario Brothers.
And plumbing's our game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others. You'll be hooked on the brothers.
Hooked on the brothers. Yo.
Yo.
I really appreciate you guys tightening up that performance.
Well, we've done it a few times.
Oh no, I think it's just because I'm here.
Well, we practiced right beforehand.
Yeah, for the rap episode, last episode, we did it cold with no music.
Yeah.
As a tribute to the bad raps in the episode itself.
That's spoilers for Cole only, so sorry, Cole. You've been spoiled, but that's the risk that you have to take going on this podcast. Things are going to get spoiled, because we'll record 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 episodes per weekend.
Not per every weekend, of course.
With a healthy 7-month break in between.
It's been known to happen. Our original production buffer was 10 episodes.
Yes.
I would kill to get there again. Although, like you said, you might lose a bit of your edge.
Yeah, right?
And to be fair, those were like 15, 20-minute episodes. And now what? The latest one that's going up tomorrow is like an hour, 50 minutes.
39.
Okay.
That's with the mailbag.
Is this your subtle way of saying keep it tight?
No.
That's a subtle way of saying defective gadgetry.
Defective Gadgetry. So, the Mario Brothers are working on plumbing again.
Yeah.
As they sometimes do. Not as often as they should for plumbers.
Well, I mean, they're plumbers in their own shop. They go out and do the actual plumbing work most of the time.
If you've ever seen a medical stint, you can see how some of the stuff in the plumber's toolkit kind of applies.
Mm-hmm.
But Luigi goes, would you get the door?
That's what your dog is saying right now. Anyway, yeah, and then the doorbell rings.
Yeah.
And Mario turns to the camera and says, how does he always know?
Well,
Which is a little suspicious because this is the first time he's ever done it.
Yeah.
Now that we've watched the preceding 39 episodes, can confirm.
Yes. He's never had precognition.
No.
He's had recognition with walking backwards.
Yeah.
Oh. But they open the door, and who's there?
I think the theme song gives it away.
Little bit.
Yeah. We'll go over a little bit about the music as right now is a good time. It's Inspector Gadget, and the theme song for Inspector Gadget almost does not stop.
Yeah, if Inspector Gadget is not on screen, all the kids should be asking, where's Inspector Gadget?
Yeah.
So we need the music to keep them engaged.
And I think the thing is, like, the first time he shows up, Inspector Gadget's fit is, like, uniform. From the shoes, the trench coat, the hat.
Mm-hmm.
It's all got, like, the same texture and color. It's distinct. It's quite simple. It's a cartoon.
Yeah.
But the outfit that they put this guy in was like a thrift store. Like, quick, we need a fedora.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we got this one that looks like a boot.
Yeah, it's very much in the vein of the usual live-action deep costume design.
The commitment to quality is shown through the budget of this show.
I think once they found the coat, they were happy.
Yeah.
That's when the effort just evaporated.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like in high school, I dressed up as Mario for like a Halloween day, and the whole thing hinged on the fact that I actually found a red Page Boy hat that opened up to a Mario cap. And it's like, okay, now the rest of the thrift store, red sweater, overalls, white gloves. The rest of it took 4 minutes to find.
Yeah.
It's about the hat.
Yeah.
I think I wore better Inspector Gadget outfits in college than our guest star.
You probably made more money at the time than Deke did.
Yeah.
But,
I wasn't being sued for judging by the content of these cartoons, there's probably 100,000 lawyers ready to pounce on them for all their derivatives.
well, that's why they had to scrub the cover songs.
Yeah, I suppose.
Ooh,
the hangover from all that.
I'm assuming the Club Mario airings still had them. It wasn't until later that they were scrubbed.
That's a really...
Because if that Club Mario segment that's in that is the full original print, then that would explain it. But, so Inspector Gadget has come to visit his Deke stablemate, the Super Mario Brothers.
Yes.
Because...
he needs repairs.
Is it because his typical mechanic isn't around?
I think he just might be in Brooklyn instead of whatever nebulous city he usually operates out of.
Yeah.
Most of these celebrities just sort of end up at the Mario's doorstep one way or another.
I get the feeling that their place is located right next to, like, where the Port Authority lets out. Because it just seems to be, like, the nexus of stuff coming and going, but it's also filthy and horrible.
Yeah. Well, it's like that in the new Mario movie, they were in Brooklyn, but they were just in this one street. I think it's kind of like that. And everything in Brooklyn is there.
Okay.
Plus, don't forget the one side wall of their basement apartment opens up into what may or may not be an abandoned subway exit.
Or the active subway, and we just never see a train go by.
Yeah, that's true. It
Yeah.
shakes the hell out of those tomatoes in the bathtub. Gadget, they open the door and he said, I heard you plumbers can fix anything. And, they're like, yeah. I don't know who told you that, but, yes, we can.
And Luigi's precognition comes up again. He's like, are you going to get that?
Oh, no, he says, after they agree to fix him, he says, I've just got to call the chief. And then Luigi's like, that'll be him now. And then his hand phone rings.
Yeah.
And he pulls what was obviously broken off a radio, an aerial antenna out of his, thumb.
Yeah.
But, that's how I would do it if I had made a cheap-ass Inspector Gadget costume.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Don't ask how I'd do the helicopter hat. And don't ask where your lawnmower went.
I was thinking cheap ceiling fan with the little wicker insert in it.
I think we all dreamed of that once.
Just taking that,
Yeah. Just seeing if it would work.
just pulling the speed cord to get some elevation.
Oh, yeah.
Pull the light cord.
Well,
so you don't
if this
get
is
hit.
what happens when it's facing down, what happens when it's facing up? Absolutely nothing.
The Mario Brothers agree to fix up Gadget.
Oh, yeah, because his antenna pops off, and he's like, he said,
Oh, it's
I'm going to have to wait while you work or something?
Yeah.
yeah. It's just to further. There's an orgy of evidence that Inspector Gadget is fallen apart. One of the peculiar things I found about the performance of Inspector Gadget is that the persona isn't the kind of snarky, observational type of witty person.
Yeah.
He's often portrayed as a very gormless, very trusting, almost like he's almost windswept with his philosophy. He just goes with it.
Yeah.
Everything tends to work out. But in this...
And he doesn't know why, even though we, the audience, know why.
Yeah, but like in this, he's a little bit like catty. He's got a little edge on his tone. Like,
Yeah, it's the gritty live-action reboot of Inspector Gadget.
he's harder for a newer audience.
Yeah. But you're right, yeah, but it fits the tone of these segments well. Everyone is a smartass all the time.
Yeah, especially Luigi.
Yeah. So yeah, it cuts to the Zelda cartoon.
Nope. This is a Zelda cartoon, so it does second part, then cuts.
That's right.
Yeah, it's the actual procedure.
Yeah, so they're getting ready, and they're using a wash basin to wash.
A wash bucket, like a mop bucket.
And with the roller...
The roller ringers.
Yeah.
And,
To dry their hands, which is a funny visual.
Yeah.
Did you notice that they were just wearing blue dress shirts backwards as their surgery?
Yeah.
The
It
scrubs.
was their blue, their powder blue shirts. Yeah, that was a neat bit.
and they're going through and washing their hands and getting all ready, and they bring back neatness counts.
Almost.
Almost.
And Luigi puts on a pair of blue dishwashing gloves. And Mario's about to put on a pair of yellow ones, but one of them's full of water. But it's leaking.
Which is always a good sign.
Yeah. And Luigi takes it over to water the tomatoes in the bathtub garden.
Waste not, want not.
Yeah, otherwise they'd have to call in young McDonald again, and nobody wants to see that.
As somebody that grows tomatoes, the highly astringent and antiseptic water that surgeons prep with before is perfect for your tomato vines. It's... Yeah.
I would believe it. What about the water that was just left in the Mario Brothers mop pail?
Oh, I bet you the mop pail water would be pretty good, actually.
If it's as clean as the rest of their place usually is.
The question is, what about with the fish swimming in it?
Oh yeah, Kenneth the goldfish, their neighbor's fish who had gone missing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
That's a thread that's introduced and disposed of.
And like the little bits of humor in that surgery session was like quick succession. There was quite a lot of funny little moments. It was just imagery, glib little comments.
Yeah.
The sneeze on his gloved hands after they finished, and wiping it on Mario's back before they walked over to the operating table. They don't put the camera down on Inspector Gadget as they're pulling all sorts of stuff out of, like, clearly a pilot. clothes.
That might bump up the age rating a bit.
And
to actually show his surgery on screen.
And then there's the line from Inspector Gadget afterwards.
Yeah, because when they're done, they like lift up his leg and shine his shoe, and they're pulling the wrench just down below the camera line and telling each other to hand them like nonsense gizmos like the stinkulator and the spackler and stuff like that. And then, there's nothing. Yeah.
I just have one question for you.
How long have you worked for the evil Dr. Claw? And the camera pans down and it's just a pile of Inspector Gadget's fake limbs and torso. Just a stuffed shirt and stuff, But it's a good way to end the episode and then lead into the Zelda cartoon.
Yeah. Which we will get into after this.
Yeah. So we cut back and they've seemed to have put Inspector Gadget back together with some spare parts.
He's about to write them a check until he asks them where he got the spare parts from.
Oh, yeah, from that novelty store on 33rd and 3rd.
A novelty store, as his hands fall down, and it's
those plastic slinkies.
Yeah, it's just mitts attached to big novelty slinkies.
Yeah. And he looks right to the camera. A novelty store.
Yeah.
I think I'll go before you Marios do anything else to help.
And as he's leaving, they say, should we tell him about all the other modifications? Luigi says it to Mario. Should we tell him about all the other modifications we've made? And you hear, Go Go Gadget, rocket boots!
Yeah.
And this is more of the shadow puppetry.
Yeah. It means the guy who plays Edison has got some work.
Yeah. Oh.
And you just see 2 legs and shoes with little rocket propeller things sticking out the back just go by on dowels.
I really appreciate the live segments where they kind of use a little bit of what they got. Like the really lame ones is where they get the guest star to come in, they stand in a row, face the camera, tell some shitty jokes, throw it to the Zelda cartoon.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Guest star, come in.
Yeah. But you're right. Yeah, things like Cher's Poochie.
Yeah.
And any Magic Johnson.
Yeah, or he's not even there.
Yeah.
He's just in the medicine cabinet. They filmed him at the background of a basketball game locker room.
Yeah. They got him for 20 minutes. They're like, we'll do what we can, and...
Did we ever determine if they filmed both of those at the same time? Was he wearing the same shirt?
Yes, he was.
I knew it. It had to be. But yeah, this one definitely had a little more work put into it. I don't know if it was because it was the Deke stablemate crossover thing.
Yeah, I think so. They kind of want to like elevate both brands.
Yeah. Andy Hayward himself came down from the executive office and said, okay, guys, Inspector Gadget is coming. We're going to do this right. We're going to actually have jokes.
Yeah.
We're going to have setup.
Yeah.
We're going to have payoff. We're going to have props.
One of the things that I noticed was, you know how like they have the animated Mario head still that zoomed in on the guest star's head and stayed there for a second?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't remember. Did they do that often?
Yeah.
Did they do it?
I know they did that with the Ratigator and they kind of left it there because Aaron's theory was that
Edison.
S was effed. Oh, Edison.
Edison. Yeah. That the costume might have been damaged or falling apart. That's my theory. I have nothing to back it up other than...
They just like to do that. Like, they would just be it's a scene transition device that they just do sometimes because they have a little deck that can, like Harold on the Red Green Show, hitting his keyboard.
That's a very, very Canadian reference.
It is.
And we've made it multiple times.
It's true.
It's the new Red Green Show! And now here's the man who never changes. His shirt, that is. Your hero, my Uncle Red Green! Thank you very much. A lot of excitement up the lodge this week because Possum Lake High School is having a huge class reunion.
What, again? They tried that last summer and hardly anybody showed up.
Yeah, but they put a stupid condition on last year's reunion. It was for graduates only.
Oh,
yeah, they did that when he did the brain swap with Frankenstein. They had the head go up from Mario and across and over to Frankenstein, which was a a good way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, yeah, it's just they'll put it over someone's face for a few seconds, and we have no idea why. And it's not like to loop some new ADR dialogue or to cover a lip flap.
I think it's just a little bit of like consequence-free fun.
I think it's to remind kids that there is a Mario cartoon coming.
That these 3-inch shaggy-looking adults.
Yeah. Now, again, I love these guys as a kid, but I can see why the executives would think
Oh yeah.
that they gotta,
On first blush, if you're just to go to a random person on the street and show them a still from the live action segment, they was like, "Is this Turkish? What's going on? Is this?" Like,
Wait, is that Lou Albano, the wrestler? But yeah, no. This was a really good live action segment. I would say it's hovering near the top for me.
I think it might actually dethrone Slime Busters.
Oh, you think so? With
Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson?
I think with how tight it is and how well everything has been put through, it is either equal to or slightly better than Slime Busters.
What do you think, Cole? Where would you put it in your list?
This episode, this live action segment cast a little spell in my heart that kept me a Mario fan until today, and so obviously it had to be something better than mindless schlock.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe
It
not
wasn't
obviously
Cherry
it had- Fortunately, it was something better that was
Yeah.
utterly mindless schlock.
Well,
which
you got
sometimes
lucky
this
that
can get,
the one you were exposed to was a good one.
yeah.
Imagine if you had seen Cher's Poochie as a kid. So, yeah. That's like when you walk in and see Basic Instinct as a kid. But you know what I mean. One of the really bad ones, like the Orph. Well, kid might actually get the orphan one. Probably not. When I was a kid, I hated kid actors.
Yeah.
Like Justin from Power Rangers.
Guys, I'm the new Blue Ranger. Isn't that cool or what?
No, the coolest thing for a kid is another kid that's like 5-6 years older than them
Yeah.
doing something that
Or at
only
least
a kid 5 or 6 years older than that kid is allowed to do. So, like, as a 10-year-old watching a 15-year-old drive a car
Good thing you don't need a license to drive a Zord.
Yeah.
or a race car, or in Major League Baseball, or go to college, right? That is like the paramount 80s coolest 15-year-old can get, right?
I thought
Yeah.
that was Deke, not Paramount.
Very good. But yeah, I mean, if we go by some podcasts' rules, it would go to the top of your ranking by default, but it definitely is up there. I think it could be the new number one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm honored. I'm honored that you made this one number one for me.
It's definitely top third.
Oh yeah, it's one.
Okay, quit reneging.
I'm not.
Peddling. This is some kind of unkind giving. You take it back later.
It's in that nebulous, our top third, middle third, bottom third ranking, and then we always say, okay, is it the top or the middle or the bottom of that third? But yeah, it's
So
in the
this is
top.
top third.
Yeah,
Yeah, top third.
Nice.
Eventually we're going to have to do top third.
yeah. Well, like we've said before, and maybe we'll mention it again. When we're done the Super Show, before we move on to Mario 3 or whatever we do, we're going to do a couple ranking episodes where we're going to pull up the old tier list website and A, B, D, E, F, whatever. And we're going to do one for the live action, one for the cartoons, and one for the Zelda show.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah,
It will be. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think so. But all right. Well, if that's it for the live action segment, should we move on to the cartoon after we...
Absolutely
Oh, no.
not.
I got so wrapped up, I forgot that we actually hadn't talked about Maurice Lamarche yet.
Yeah.
My
Who
mistake.
was Inspector Gadget.
During and after this.
Yes.
This didn't bring the whole Inspector Gadget.
I loved Inspector Gadget.
Gadget. To bring it to a screeching halt.
So, Maurice Lamarche has a very, very long career. I would list all of his acting credits, but there are 439 of them to date.
Yeah, I was only off by 39.
Oh. So,
Just give us the top 400.
Futurama, he was Zap Brannigan and Kiff. And Morbo and...
Calculon?
Yeah, Calculon.
I knew it.
And the Dionysus robot.
The hedonism bot.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Dionysus robot.
Yeah.
That's such a bizarre poll. How are you such a complicated person? You're like, oh, everything outwardly about me is video games and this, and then you're like, some Greek classics. I'll just sprinkle that in.
Well, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
He was Mortimer Mouse in Mickey Mouse Funhouse.
Mm-hmm.
He's often voiced Orson Welles.
Yeah. With the voice that he uses as the brain.
Who's Orson Welles?
Frozen peas. No, come on. War of the Worlds.
Yeah.
Unicron.
I'm gonna need a little. I'm gonna need something to prime me. Like, is there like a famous Orson Welles quote? Or impersonation?
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Well, John, furnish me an Orson Welles, please.
I did.
What?
Frozen peas.
Yeah.
You know this is shit, don't you?
Oh, didn't he also do Citizen Kane? No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're just gonna stand up and start clapping your ass off? Just the easiest.
Yeah, no, and again, he was the voice of Unicron, and anyway, we're talking about Maurice Lamarche, not Orson Welles, except for the fact that he does an Orson Welles.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Didn't he do it in The Critic?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay, I know Orson Welles.
I have another interesting fact about The Critic.
Okay, very good.
But first, this is one that you will appreciate. Dragon Rescue Riders. Dragon Riders? The reboot? Isn't that the toy that you go...
That was Dragonflies.
Oh, you are absolutely right.
And I remember they also had a girl-appropriate product as well.
Sky Dancers.
Yeah.
I think the girl one was first.
Yeah.
I think for once it was... Sky Dancers is the girl version of Dragonflies. It was Dragonflies is the boy version of Sky Dancers.
And I know growing up with four sisters, the Sky Dancers were the superior product.
Yeah.
Like, I was playing with the Sky Dancer more than my, Dragonflyer.
But my friend Mike had one of those, where they'll compile a bunch of episodes of a cartoon into a movie and put it on tape?
Mm.
He had Dragonflies, the movie. So it's like the first 3 episodes.
Flight is night. Watch the skies for dragonflies. Dragonflies maximize when great wings forces are on the rise. Dragonflies maximize. Here comes the cry to mobilize. Dragonflies maximize. Man and dragon live as one, fighting Dreadwing till the battle's won.
This is a D3 alert.
Dragonflies, hit the skies. Gremlins at 12 o'clock, cut and dive. Watch out! Dragonflies, let's burn some wing and get out of here. On the wing and the prayer, the fight to survive is in the air. Before the earth grows dark and dies, the only hope is in the skies. Watch the skies for dragonflies.
And that was the only thing I knew of Dragonflies. I don't think it actually aired in Canada otherwise. I don't remember ever seeing it again.
He also did Chancellor Naysay in My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. Was in the Hey Arnold movie.
As?
He was just in it.
Okay,
Orson
yeah.
Welles.
Big Bob, Homeless Man 1.
Oh, yeah, he was
Flunky
Helga's
Guard.
dad in Hey Arnold. That's Big Bob.
Oh, yes.
Sold beepers. You want to get 90s.
He was in Transformers Rescue Bots. Zootopia as Mr. Big, the voice of Mr. Big.
Well, was he Mr. Big or the voice of Mr. Big?
The voice of
But
Mr.
then who
Big.
played Mr. Big?
Animation.
Ron Perlman.
Batman Arkham Knight.
Yeah. Oh, he plays Calendar Man in the Arkham games.
Dr. Victor Freeze, Mr. Freeze.
And he plays Mr. Freeze. That's right. Doing a good impression of the guy who voiced him in the old cartoon.
Yes. Same with Arkham Origins.
Mm-hmm. He was Calendar Man, right? I didn't get that wrong.
He was in Batman The Dark Knight Returns, both Part 1 and Part 2 as Dr. Hebert Willing and Anchor Tom. Yes, he was Calendar Man.
I thought I knew he was.
He was in The Critic. He started off as a stand-up comedian and did voice acting as a side gig before he started taking off. And Animaniacs for Pinky and the Brain was one of the big hits.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. In The Critic, there is one episode where he voiced 29 characters in 30 minutes.
Nice.
So.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. That's a little bit of information on that. But yeah, he's been active since 1983, and he's going to be active for at least a couple more years.
Yeah.
So this was like pretty early on in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His big thing right now probably was that he had replaced Don Adams for Inspector Gadget. Hey, just recording a little drop in here to explain something that's about to happen. I was under the mistaken belief that Maurice Lamarche replaced Don Adams halfway through the original Inspector Gadget. He actually wouldn't assume the role until 1999 or so, when Don Adams would retire from it completely. So Gadget Boy is still Don Adams, Inspector Gadget's Last Case is still Don Adams, Inspector Gadget Saves Christmas is still Don Adams. I think Maurice Lamarche takes over for Gadget and the Gadgetinis. Not that I expect anyone to have ever heard of that. I was going to just cut it all out, but the whole thing doesn't flow very well with that chunk missing, so just keep in mind that I'm wrong. Which is a good springboard to mention that stuff.
Yes. However, IMDb and Wikipedia both just say he voiced Chief Quimby. But I know that that's wrong.
Yeah, he took over for the second, quote, season. Yeah. Which is like, these are 65 episode seasons, so in episode 66, that's when you start with Maurice Lamarche.
Yes.
But he also voices him in, like, Gadget Boy and Heather, Gadget and the Gadgetinis. Pretty much Inspector Gadget going forward, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, and Johnny Bravo, Freakazoid. The Sylvester and Tweety mysteries. For a while...
He played Inspector Gadget in all of these?
Yes. In all of those, he was Inspector Gadget. But yeah, he's done quite a bit of work. Probably going to finish off with over 500.
I think that's also a good assumption.
He currently has another 8 upcoming that we know of.
Oh, sure. Well, he's like a Frank Welker type. He just shows up and stuff.
Yeah. We actually got to see him live in 2010? 11?
I think it was 11.
I think you're right.
Yeah, he was part of that voice actor panel. That was pretty neat. Until you get to the Q&A part of a voice actor panel. Then it's time to leave because everyone's asking the same stupid-ass question. At this point, we went on a 5-minute digression about comic book convention panels stories that we had. And it's pretty funny, but it doesn't really fit this part of the show, so I've moved it to after the ending. Q&A panel of voice actors is so cringy, the questions they get, because it's always, A, how do I get into voice acting? B, what kind of training should I do? C, they start going off with all their impressions, hoping to be impressive.
Not new voices, just...
Yeah. I'm Kermit the Frog, I'm this, I'm that. And then, as much as I have disdain for Tara Strong, wasn't she the one who said, okay, those are impressions, not voices?
Yes.
It's like, yeah, I respect her as a performer, not as a person. We'll get into that more when we get to Mario 3, and I can't avoid it any longer. Also, stop using Tara Strong for Harley Quinn. She sucks.
We've done enough about Maurice Lamarche.
Yeah.
Are you sure? He did like 400 plus voices.
Yeah.
There's probably a couple more interesting ones. Come on, Aaron, get back in there.
Well, again, he can voice.
Kidding.
Okay, no. He's in a few commentaries on Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. He does lots of good old Hanna-Barbera voices. And when he voices Fred Flintstone in that episode where Fred is being accused of being a mob boss, and it's The Sopranos. It's one of the best episodes. When he was being asked to do Fred Flintstone, he could do the 3 known actors of Fred Flintstone, and he asked which one of them they wanted. And he did like a mix of the two. You know, that's the, "You're dead to me" can opener.
One of the things I loved about Harvey Birdman was like, you know how, like, if you ever watch like a little kid's show, how the pacing can be almost like you get like 3 frames of payoff before they move on to the next thing with like 3 frames of payoff. It's just that. The first like 5 or 6 episodes of Harvey Birdman were absolutely produced with that ethos in mind.
Yeah.
I was dating a lawyer years and years and years ago. Like, oh, I think you'd find this funny. Put that on. She thought I had some kind of like.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna elaborate, but that did not impress her very much.
No. Well, and yeah, that was that's another DVD set I have with great commentaries, and the first handful of episodes, I think up until the Dynamite 2-parter, were done by traditional. Yeah, that's like the first season.
Yeah, the setup for his 40th birthday.
Yeah.
Surprise!
I spent 3 years in prison.
Yeah. Wait, I'm not going to be executed? Not on your birthday, silly. But anyway, yeah, up until part 2 of that, they were done traditional animation in Korea. And these are 15-minute Adult Swim shows with that quick cutting style. They could not get it. And so that's why you'll see that, like, with Avenger, it's like, you know, oh, it's a clerk, not a partner like you. Who's my eagle? Knight slams the cage, fast forwards out the office. They constantly had to double, triple the speed of footage to get the pacing they wanted. And also, paperwork would be stapled on the wrong corner because they read left to right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a little treasure trove of Harvey Birdman knowledge I never had before.
Get the DVDs and watch the commentaries.
I did have
the DVDs.
so funny.
Well, then watch the commentaries.
Yeah, I will.
You know what? I've decided I'm finishing up the list of Maurice Lamarche, but only his producer roles.
Okay.
In 2017, he produced a TV show called My Roommate's an Escort. And also in 2017, he produced a short called The Zim. One of them has an 8-star on IMDb. One of them has a 4.5 star. I'm sure you can guess which one. Wrong! It was The Roommate is an Escort that was a 4.5.
I still can't believe they changed the title of your autobiography.
Oh.
It's like, you know, they had to call... This is a deep pull, but I saw it recently on TikTok. Do you remember Knighthood cartoon? It was an adaptation of the Arsène Lupin character. It was another one of those Canadian-French Sinar things. I remember it being pretty good, but they couldn't use the title Lupin in the title because it's tied up with copyright. So they called it Knighthood.
Okay, I think I recognize it as Lupin, but just
if I played you the theme song, that might unlock the song in your brain. It happened to me. But anyway, the point of that is, what was the point of that? changing the name, not being able to use it, copyright. Just like when they bring Detective Conan over, that anime. They have to call it Case Closed because you just can't call your thing Conan in the West. Hey, just another little drop in here on the subject of Maurice Lamarche. A couple more voices I wanted to highlight. He was Egon Spengler in The Real Ghostbusters and its sequel show Extreme Ghostbusters. And he was the Garbage Man in the Dilbert cartoon. And as for Harvey Birdman, attorney at law, he voiced Stan Freezoid, Apache Chief, Fred Flintstone, Inch High Private Eye, Droopy Dog, Quick Draw McGraw, which was a Charlton Heston impression, Morocco Mole, Magilla Gorilla, Shazam, and Atom Ant. And probably a couple others that I missed. Okay, let's get into the Zelda cartoon. We don't have it in the button yet. I didn't put it up on the Google Drive for Aaron to download to his computer, convert it to a .wave, put it onto the SD card inside the pod track, and take away our rim shot button. So instead, Aaron's going to hit the rim shot button. Thank you.
Comedy's timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job, hero.
Hey, excuse me, princess.
All right. Underworld Connections. Zelda episode 8, I believe.
Yes.
And
40 divided by 5, carry the 1.
Haven't you guys been promising the Zelda bumper for probably at the point where I'm going to be listening to this on Spotify for like months now?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I keep editing it in. I just haven't put it on the button like we have the Hooked on the Brothers.
Oh, I wasn't listening.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I'll listen later.
Thank you. Well, you'll be listening to this one, I can guarantee it. At least I hope so.
Don't let me edit it.
No.
But then you guys get to put comments.
That's okay.
We already do.
Yeah, trust us. All right,
well,
Underworld
at least John
Connections.
does.
Yeah. We wake up.
Yes, we wake up.
Oh,
in the morning.
There's no waking up involved
Feeling like
in
he
the
did.
beginning of this episode.
No.
There's emotion. A body is doing things an awake body should be doing at the beginning of this episode.
So we cut to Link in his bedroom with the Triforce, and
he starts sleepwalking.
Yeah. Arms out, Frankenstein marching, the whole thing. He picks up his conveniently already placed bow with an arrow with a rope on it, and fortunately doesn't hit the princess when he fires an arrow at her window.
Yeah.
And it lodges in the wooden frame, solidly enough for him to tie the other end of the rope to something and walk along it as a tightrope.
Yeah.
In his sleep.
Yeah, the boy's got some constitution. He can be in a dead sleep, get a bucket of ice cold water, and keep balancing on a rope while going, what?
And then fall.
Yeah, you gotta go through some pretty gnarly physical stuff where not losing your balance to a bucket of cold water out of a dead sleep is like, well, maybe that's what he's heroically capable.
Well, yeah,
we've that kind of stuff.
We've seen this Link pull off some impressive stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, Zelda, she says, "What do you think you're doing?" "I was sleepwalking." "Sleepwalking? Sure. You were trying to sneak a quick kiss." That would be terrible.
Yeah.
Even if it just stopped there, it's still terrible. But as they're arguing, 3 Vyres fly in?
Yes.
They keep flying in front of the moon so we can see them in the dark. And they're going to steal the Triforce.
And Link's going, oh, they can't steal it. It's too big for them.
Not for long. One of them has a bomb. And then the Vyre drops the little spiked bomb under the Triforce of Wisdom just as the fuse runs out. It's a good thing they didn't take a stop for a break.
He's a pro nade cooker.
Oh, man.
Or they had a heavy headwind.
Yeah. But no, the Triforce gets broken into just 3 pieces, not 8 like in the original game. But we are sort of adapting the story of the original game in the loosest way possible.
Yes.
Just in case you thought they were already doing that. And the Vyres, 2 of them fly off with pieces of the Triforce, while the third one gets, does Zelda hit it with a boomerang?
Yes.
No. No, how does the third one not end up taking a piece of its own? Link.
I think Link just point blanks him with the
the sword beam.
and feeds him a couple more for good measure.
That's right.
After grabbing onto the
Triforce, yeah.
Yeah, because when the bomb goes off, the other end of the rope is severed from where it was tied down in Link's room, and he's falling, and Zelda grabs the rope, swings down, and catches Link, and then the rope wraps around the stone bridge of the castle and carries them up, and then they land on it. Which is pretty impressive.
I think that sequence occurred first, and then he was getting pulled out the window and he was gripping the door frame with his toes.
Yeah.
And she comes up behind him, not offering any help. And this is after he dispatches the enemy and gets the piece of Triforce.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That was in the Underworld.
Because I was thinking that something they should add to the Canadian fitness program is foot suspensions. You just hang from a windowsill with your feet.
No, you're absolutely right. What actually happens is Link starts running towards his room tower on the rope. And then, gets in there. He's being pulled away by the Vires, but managed to get his sword from his pile of dirty laundry.
Grabs by the blade off of the ground.
Yeah, well, in one shot, it's brown as if it's in its scabbard, and then in the next shot, it's not.
Yeah, when he's running across the floor, it's naked blade, and his hand is going right for the the sharp
as
end.
we all know, Link has no fear about handling that blade with his bare hands, because we've seen him spin it, set to the tune of Sandstorm by Darude. So Link, he's grabbed the piece of the Triforce that the Vire is holding, and he zaps the Vire, and that's what leaves him hanging out his window by his toes.
His impressively strong toes, and they're bending the way that toes aren't known for being strong.
Oh, yeah. And then he flops over and eats shit against the stonework of the castle, and his dressing gown falls up. So we see he's still wearing those white boxers with hearts on it, just like in... It wasn't last episode, but the one before, right? The Zelda one before?
I think it was actually last episode.
Was it in Doppelganger? Yeah, because he runs in from his sleep to come and see what Zelda's screaming about.
Yeah.
That's right.
And this is the sequence that's going to give this episode its thumbnail, isn't it?
It probably is, because, the animators decide to have a little fun and make it very obvious that Zelda's at least not wearing anything above the waist under her robe. By giving rare 1989 underboob. You don't see that too often.
Yeah.
And it's hardly anything, but it's just so funny that they chose to draw it.
Well, it made me horny.
Yeah, well, good for you.
What?
You're not supposed to just say it.
Yeah, well, you're supposed
It's implied.
Yeah.
Shucks.
Or imploded.
Yeah. But no, so that might be the thumbnail. We'll see. It's just kind of funny that they did. The Zelda cartoons, it's weird. It skews a bit older than the Mario show by like 2 years. But in the first episode where Link is above her and she's wearing that dress with the low neckline and he says, "Looking good, princess, especially from this angle."
Yeah.
So it's like, it's that show, it's that.
And I bet you there were kids that saw that and like made that remark, especially from this angle. Their parents were like, "What the? Where did they don't get that from?"
That happens a lot when you repeat stuff you heard on TV that your parents definitely didn't watch.
Well, I have a 3-year-old and he's in repeat mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited. It's going to be
for him
interesting
to
to
watch
see
this episode
when he gets the white YouTube brain rot. What kind of random
skibbity toilet?
Yeah, that stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we had to get our brain rot the old-fashioned way.
Through watching the same cassette and DVD
man.
over and over and over again until your brain is rotted just right. It's like fermenting a really good kimchi.
Yeah. Well, your brain needs to be rotten to be able to still see the picture through how terrible and staticky the tape has become.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you don't notice somehow. Usually. You just wait for the tracking to work.
It's like the fun carbonation of the 90s. It's all flat now, but back then it had a little bit of bubble to it.
And sometimes it had actual red bubbles floating in it.
Orbeez.
Yeah, Orbeez. He didn't say Arby's.
Orbeez.
I'm thinking Orbeez. Is anyone there talking about Orbeez? I get some curly fries and a beef and cheddar.
So I think the next part that we come into is a spot that is rife for that audio editing that you're infamous for. Your
censorships.
Your censored Zelda videos.
Yeah. Well, we passed over one part. I was sleepwalking. There's one clip from that scene that I might as well just drop right here.
I was sleepwalking. Now help me before I fall.
Sleepwalking? Sure. You were trying to sneak a quick...
No, I wasn't. I mean, maybe I was, but I was asleep. It wasn't my fault.
And then there's another clip from way later on that's in that same video.
Yeah. I think the repeated use of the words wet and hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because
if I ever make a volume 2, I'll put more effort in.
You should, because so many people have stolen volume 1.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I go to search my own video, and it's like cut up into pieces on other people's channels. It's like, you know, if I thought there was half a chance I could make any kind of money from this, I'd be really upset. And if I'd ever done anything else to follow up on it.
Well, I think the thing is that, like, you're the original creator of it, and I like to take a Kraft cheese slice and throw it on my sandwich and say, nothing better than the original. And Courtney will say, there are so many things better than Kraft cheese.
Yeah.
But I'm loyal to my Kraft cheese, and I'm loyal to you. So if you do
Thank
a volume 2, I will comment and thumbs up.
I appreciate it. But
and if you want to comment and thumbs up on this episode,
please do that.
Yeah, we would appreciate it.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Very organic, fellas.
It is. You gave us the perfect age.
I know.
But
if this week, I've been doing this without John's permission for the last 3 episodes, but comment on who your dream guest star on this show would be.
On this show?
On this
podcast.
I don't know if we have enough listeners to actually have
like
dreams.
Beans and Jug from the other podcast.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bimmy and Jimmy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So Zelda tells Link, get dressed. We're going after the Triforce because they can feel either side of the shard that they still have. One is hot to the touch, and the other is so wet that somehow it's making Zelda's hand wet through it. It's real Last Jedi stuff.
How do they stop the virus from...
how did they end up there?
Yeah, that was neat. Yeah, Link...
Zelda mentioned it's first Link, you were right. Link mentioned they're halfway to Ganon by now, and Zelda's mentioning, the Triforce is all connected, so if you zap it with your sword, it should zap the virus.
And then the Triforce exploded in Zelda's hands, and shards of it embedded in everybody.
Yeah.
So that went well. But no, yeah, Link shoots a couple times into the Triforce, and the Vires do get zapped and drop them in various spots throughout the Underworld.
And what
after
could have
having
been
split
a
up.
fathomless lake, and what could have been molten lava.
Yeah, fortunately, the lake had a bottom, and the lava had lots and lots of rocks in it for it to fall on.
Little outcroppings.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for mentioning that. And then, yeah, they're off to head to the Underworld to find it with the help of Zelda's got a compass from Zelda 1, which in the dungeons, it would put a blinking dot in whatever room the Triforce was in. In modern games, it's how you fill in the map with things like where the boss door is, where the treasure chests are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good. It's a bit of game stuff, which I always appreciate.
Yeah, I always find I enjoy it more when it happens in the Mario cartoon, where they do the game stuff.
Because it's so weird in the Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just had one in, not the rap one, but the one before, where there's actually a Lakitu throwing Spinies.
Oh,
no, the one before that.
The one before that. And they actually look right.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, they don't do that usually.
Oh, but that's also counterbalanced by the overuse of in-game sound effects.
Yeah, they're great. I never get tired of that. It's not so bad in the Zelda cartoon because there was a lot less. Yeah, in the Mario cartoon, they just use them incessantly. Every time they run. That was my microphone.
This is my microphone. That's Cole's microphone.
Oh.
Oh,
felt that in my soul.
It's a good thing we taped the button down.
Yeah.
Every time I wanted to chime in, enjoy.
Yeah.
So, But Link and Zelda come upon a pond that Zelda knows is an underworld entrance, and Link is skeptical. He says, sorry, princess, it just looks like a big puddle. But she, Aquaman telepathy rings from her hand away the water. It didn't make the sound, though.
But that would make a great TikTok.
Keep that in mind.
And by that I mean like a super short.
Yeah, keep the final line where Link mentions having never caught any fish in that pond.
This sounds like my lake might be a magic portal to to an underworld.
Yeah. And that's from Zelda 1, or one of the entrances. You go to the body of water, play the flute, and it drains, and there's the stairs.
Yeah.
So they head into the underworld, and they follow the compass first to the wet place.
Yes.
And yeah, more slightly suggestive, but definitely not suggestive uses of words like wet, and this is the wettest place around.
This is the wettest bleep around.
Okay, but Ganon is actually...
Yeah, this is the wettest place around, Link, so dive in. But yeah, before that, Ganon's monologuing about... first he's berating the Vyres for dropping it and not remembering where. But then he realizes, well, I'll just wait till Link and Zelda find it and then get it from them. He's got he would have home field advantage, except for the fact that they keep coming to his place and beating him up.
Yeah.
They got a little overnight bag in the bathroom just in case they show up a little bit later.
It's like the Edmonton Oilers in like 2022. Wasn't that when they were really bad?
I don't remember. It all runs together. What an odd thing to inject.
Very broad about the very good, very bad.
Look, we've referenced the fact that we're Canadian in like titles before. We don't have to, ham-handedly insert this stuff. But Ganon, he's doing that thing where he monologues to himself while teleporting around the throne room. Just for giggles, mostly.
Just treating that teleportation magic like Taylor Swift treats jet fuel.
Oh, yeah.
But at least Taylor Swift's going somewhere. He's just dinking around.
Yeah. He just doesn't want to walk across his own living room.
He's doing his best Bill Maher takedown of the of Link and Zelda.
Yeah. So he unleashes a few monsters from the evil jar, because as Zelda has already figured out, that he can use the monsters when they warp back. He'll know where they were and where Link and Zelda are. And Zelda keeps telling Link to stop zapping monsters, not giving any other alternative on how to take care of the rope snakes that are currently trying to choke the hell out of him.
Just let them.
Yeah. But then Link just kicks them in the face and they fly away, complete with blood trail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little odd.
Well, I remember the early release of Ocarina of Time. When Link slashed Ganon at the end, It was red splotches. Yep. I have a cartridge that's that old.
Yeah,
but later on they turned it to green.
They did. And when he coughs up a bunch of red blood, too.
Yeah.
There's a few other spots where there's some red blood.
A little bit of red,
green.
yeah.
Yeah. And when they changed the Gerudo symbol from a hilariously on-the-nose star and crescent to the whatever that symbol is that they have now. Yeah, with the weird face. And they took that stock sound effect Muslim chanting out of the Fire Temples.
Yes, out of the soundtrack.
Yeah, which, again, it was just a stock library. It was never meant to be any more than it was, especially to a native Japanese speaker like
in
Koji
1997,
yeah.
when they were developing it.
It was just from a sound effects CD. There's a really good episode of, was it Pop Fiction from Game Trailers covered that? I'll link it in the description if I find that again. It was a good video because it plays not only that, but a whole bunch of other library sounds that are used throughout the Zelda series, and it's pretty interesting stuff. Listen with headphones on.
Yeah.
But, finally, they find, the Black Falls, is what Ganon calls it, when the ropes. So I didn't want to just say ropes, because, what ropes? Like the snakes, they're called ropes for some reason. Just like how the bats are keys. And he knows they're at the Black Falls, even though it's like pinkish, bluish, purplish water. But I think the rocks are black.
I just think it has a menacing name.
Yeah.
Nobody ever goes to Black Falls to confirm that it's actually Black Falls because it sounds like it kind of sucks, but it's actually pretty all right.
Yeah.
It's like Devil's Peak.
They got a Denny's there.
Or Dante's Inferno.
They have Pierce Bronson there.
Yeah.
But so Link takes off his hat and his belt so he can swim in the water and go get the Triforce.
No, it's Dante's Peak.
I'm thinking about the classic...
The classics.
Yeah. You're all about the classics.
It's all about the classics.
That's why you're on this show. We're talking about a classic here.
Yeah, you bring sophistication to the conversation.
I bring useless trivia. Like the fact that the monster that Link ends up riding out of the water is an Aquamentus, the first boss in Zelda 1.
I never got that far.
No, that doesn't surprise me at all.
But I have beaten Link's Awakening.
There's
Have
not...
you?
No, that game was so punishing, and I was so much older, and I was used to, at that point, video games kind of soft-pedaling the game to you. Where, like, there was kind of a period where the N64, they started developing games that you could actually legitimately finish as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had gotten used to that kind of video game by the time I revisited Link's Awakening. And Link's Awakening was just too punishing for me to push through.
All right.
Well, especially if you're playing it on an original Game Boy.
Yeah.
And you can't see it worth half a crap.
Well, did you finish it?
No. But I will someday. It's actually one of the only Zelda games on my list that it's only got one check mark. Played, but not finished.
Yeah.
Besides anything released in the last couple of years because I've been so far behind. Not counting Tears of the Kingdom, which I did beat. It was good.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did not.
Yeah, I haven't beaten it either.
No one asked you.
Oh, there's a third
I'll
guy.
just keep my comments to myself.
Thank you. Would you? That would make this a lot faster. Remind me, on the staircase, where did the bomb come from?
From one of the ropes dropped it.
The snake monster with no arms. It dropped. It was just a piece of spawned loot from killing the... Okay, that does happen, like the rupee in White Knight.
Yes.
Or ruby, as they call it. But anyway, Link picks up the bomb, and he goes to use it, drops it, it lands to Zelda, and she uses it to blow up the Aquamentus.
Yes.
After Zelda had saved Link from the ropes with the boomerangs that he had given her earlier.
Yes.
Chekhov's boomerang.
Fun fact, that Aquamentus was within 14 centimeters of the world record.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big one to catch. I heard they have a really flaky donkey-flavored meat.
I've heard that too, fairly recently.
Yeah.
I hear that you have to smoke it, but only with oak.
Yeah. And if you feed any to Aaron, he breaks out into horseshoe-shaped hives.
Yeah.
Or honeycomb-shaped horseshoes.
Damn! What's this? The doctor says.
Oh.
But Link manages to save the Triforce piece, and he hands it to Zelda, and that's where the other bit of this episode that was in the censored one comes in. Your Triforce chunk, fair maiden, kiss me. And then she just walks past him. Wonderful. And he just flap.
Ta-da! Your Triforce chunk, fair maiden. Me.
Wonderful!
Yep. A guy who got splashed with a bucket of cold water standing on a rope in a dead sleep can't correct for a missed kiss.
He's a lot worse when he's awake.
Yeah.
When he doesn't have a sword in his hand, it's like he's turned off. He picks up his sword and suddenly he's Superman. Or
So
Spider-Man.
What I'm hearing is to turn on Link, just put a sword in his hand?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we cut back to Ganon, who is still tracking them. And don't forget that Ganon repeated his entire explanation of his monologue twice. Right before the commercial and right after.
Yeah.
He just reiterates everything.
Just in case you walked in after the commercial line and was like, well, I'm lost. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because that's what TV was like back in the day. It was like that, and such a pain that creators just started just to do that with their stuff because they do that. It happens so frequently with like, schedule-bound television broadcasts that people would miss stuff. So repeating it every once in a while, especially for kids.
Oh yeah, well that's the thing for kids. I especially like the old bit with the commercial break where, it's right as you fade to the commercials, like the no,
yeah,
and then you come back in and it's the same the no again. But when you're watching it without commercials, it's just that twice, fade out, fade in.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find the one that is a Power Rangers style show where the heroes are in a rainbow-covered, rainbow-lined tube that's tossing them down a hill or something.
Okay, so that didn't turn out to be either of those clips from VR Troopers or Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad?
No.
Damn it. We'll find it someday.
My favorite version of the form is where they close with one take of the scene, and then they open with just a different take of the same scene.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that.
The Adventures of Captain Marvel.
Oh, well, that was just... That's not even the same. That's when those serials would cheat out of the cliffhanger by inserting shots that were not at the end of the previous serial.
Okay.
Like, we watched those, that, 1945 Batman and Robin serial, and in one, Batman and Robin are in Bruce Wayne's car. We'll come back to that, and they go off a cliff and explode. At the beginning of the next serial, car's going off, heading towards the cliff, Batman and Robin jump out of the car, then it goes over the cliff and explodes. It's like, that is cheating. And
that sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you watched it a Saturday apart, it's not so bad. Plus, that has one of the greatest lines of any Batman production ever. The thing was so cheap, they didn't have a separate car to be the Batmobile. So Batman and Robin are literally driving around in the same Lincoln that Bruce Wayne was driving. And Vicky Vale says, Batman, does Bruce Wayne know you're driving his car?
Of course.
Yeah. Batman just says, of course.
Well, doesn't that mean that Barry Brown is tied up with them? Maybe even leading them?
I've suspected Brown for some time. But you haven't answered my question.
Does Bruce Wayne know that you're driving his car?
Of course.
And that's it. Good enough.
Yeah. It was an easier time back then.
Yeah, they were much more trusting in the 60s.
40s.
Yeah, but... So, however it is, they get to where the Lake of Lava is.
And there's a character missing a voice actor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they get charged at by a Gibdo, one of those mummies.
Silently.
Yeah, not even any kind of grunts or groans. Just, a silent mummy. And
a huge silent mummy.
Oh, yeah. And it bodies Link around a couple times until he finally has to zap it. And Zelda, for the audience, reiterates, don't do that. Ganon will know where we are. But Link heads down into the fire fields with his trusty shield with that mysterious cross on it. We don't know why their shields have a cross on it. We talked about that a couple episodes when we had a Christmas episode.
Mm-hmm.
You can't let yourself wonder why the cartoon world has Christmas. You just can't. It's a rabbit hole you can never crawl back out of.
But I can wonder why they released the Christmas episode before Halloween.
Because the entirety of the show that we've watched so far originally aired in October.
Yeah.
Well, September and October. Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't tailor it very well.
No.
But they probably knew they would put it out on a tape of Mario's Christmas Adventures or something, along with that terrible episode of Mario 3. We'll get to that. And Link uses his shield to sort of hop over some flames, finds the piece of the Triforce, and then Ganon appears and demands the Triforce, and so Link gives it to him. And of course the thing is almost molten hot, so Ganon does the hot potato thing.
Well, he uses his sword like a pizza peel.
Yeah, he does.
And he slips it underneath.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
The cheese is just right. Which describes this show pretty well.
Slightly brown and bubbly?
Yeah. But, yeah. So he tosses back to Link, who catches it on the edge of his sword again, and then wangs it back up to Zelda, who combines it with the rest of the Triforce.
Yeah.
And then starts running up the stairs while Link gives chase, but not...
Well, doesn't Ganon sound like an absolute monster wave of fire at Zelda?
Yeah, he redirects the fire from the ground to...
Oh, that's where the boomerang came in.
The second...
She chucked the boomerang. And then
because Link got 2 zaps onto Ganon. You guys were having a digression about something. And that's, once again, one more zap in your history, Ganon.
And it's called kissing.
Yeah. It's a timely digression.
Yeah.
It looks more romantic on 12-point font.
Ariel or Times New Roman? Rumen.
I personally like Roboto.
I like Helvetica Standard.
You are a Helvetica Standard guy, aren't you? You just tell by the way you walk.
The fact that I own the whole Blu-ray set of My Ordinary Life. That's a multi-layered joke that I'll explain later. But, so Ganon is 2 shots out. Zelda nails him with the boomerang to save Link. And then Link surfs on his shield across the fire to follow Zelda up the stairs. Which, again, pretty forward-thinking. I think Dr. Derpel mentioned that in his letter for this episode.
I think so. So the fire waves were his waves.
Oh, Club Mario. What have you done to our brains? Now that's brain rot. Watching Club Mario. But, yeah.
I think Club Mario would do pretty well if it was released right now.
As a 90s nostalgia piece?
As a brain rot.
Oh, as a brain rot. It could.
You know what? That's the YouTube Shorts mission.
Hey.
Get something from the Nintendo Club Skibbity toilet.
Yeah.
I won't be doing that, but someone else can. But maybe I will put some clips of Club Nintendo in our rotation.
Club Mario?
Yes. Club Nintendo is that thing where you can send away and get stickers and crap.
I remember the Nintendo hotline.
I know of the Nintendo hotline. But Link and Zelda escape from the hole, just barely escaping from a fiery pillar. Link wants a kiss, but they're both covered in soot. She says no. Was there a closing joke? Or was it just they're running towards the castle? He's like, oh, come on, princess.
I think it was that.
I think it was that, too.
Then we skip back to the live action.
You almost said skibbity. We skibbity back.
Skibbity right on to the live action.
To the plumbers.
Yeah. Oh.
Christ. That might be the only time I've ever said the word skibbity.
I'm so sorry, John.
I know.
And now you're going to say it way more often now that you've said it once.
Yeah. They couldn't stop me saying it.
It's going to be your new swag.
Well, I'm running out of fingers. Aaron once threatened me every time I said the word swag, he'd break one of my fingers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You better quit it.
I know. But that's the end of the Zelda cartoon. Underworld Connections. How'd you like it? Cole, you start.
Well, I didn't. I was expecting a Mario cartoon because primarily this podcast is Mario cartoons.
So it started on a bit of a down.
It started on a bit of a high because of the live action.
Oh yeah.
Then it was just disappointment.
Yeah, because everybody's just like celebrating this cartoon. You know,
everybody is me.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who ever said a nice thing about this show.
I was hoping that I could watch a Mario cartoon and enjoy like the campy rip-off of some like action movie from the 60s or 70s. Like, I'm waiting for them to do like a Chinatown episode.
They did.
No, the Godzilla one is not Chinatown.
All right, that's Japanese.
Or like, I don't know, something to do with like... The whole joke I'm going for is like a really gritty drama that's not appropriate for it. Like,
the Unzappables.
Yeah,
that was Al Capone and stuff.
Yeah,
you haven't listened to it yet, but I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah. So it wasn't a Mario episode, but besides that,
as far as like as a fun cartoon. Like, I'd have to say that I have no... I observed no animation flaws that, like, stood out to me. Like, nobody's mouth was moving when the words were coming out. So, structurally, like, excellent compared to Mario.
They got that out of their system last time in Doppelganger.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the only Zelda ones with some real noticeable animation glitches. Because they had to animate 2 Zeldas who were different colors.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing never goes off 100%.
Yeah. And I think like the characters and the voice acting, everything is a fun, enjoyable little romp. Like if you're taking like the target audience, kids from the early 90s into account, this stuff was the best that you could get from Deke and like in this kind of like show offering that you got like on the Canadian airwaves back in the day.
Yeah, and I mean, you compare it as an adaptation of the Zelda games, Zelda 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to Mario 1 and 2 being adapted into plot of the week cartoon churning conveyor belt.
Yeah,
it's different.
So I'd say definitely my top Zelda episode.
It's not mine, but it's a good one. What about you, Aaron?
I enjoyed it. It had volcanoes, which automatically drops it down to by a 0.5.
Yeah.
You know my love of volcanoes and love of making everything about them worse. But honestly, good story, good use of actual in-game items.
Yeah.
Good voice acting. Good
From like 3 voice actors.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like a bottle episode. As close as you could get to a bottle episode with animation is stripping it down to just the main cast.
That's what this show, that's the only thing this show ever does. There's like, I think there's been 3 guest characters who have like real dialogue.
Yeah.
And we don't even know who voiced them. We have good guesses. There was the Wall Witch. That was definitely Tabitha St. Germain.
Yes.
It was Tabitha St. Germain's old lady voice.
The king shows up.
When the king shows up, he's an actual other name, Colin Fox. He hasn't been in the last few. And then Prince Facade, who we have no idea who it was, probably Len Carlson. And I think that's it.
It was
no, I was going to say, we didn't have that janitor guy. He shows up later.
Could it be the king was Patrick Stewart?
Maybe.
Or
and don't forget Sing from Sing for the Unicorn, whose lines were like this weird backmasked buzzing noise.
Yeah.
Which is still better than trying to give her a fake sounding quote unquote Asian dialect to match her animation model.
Yeah.
She was the lady ninja. You could tell by the shape.
But, pretty good Zelda episode. I know we don't do top third for this one, but, one of the better options.
Yeah, it's up there for the Zelda cartoon.
If I was to introduce anyone to the Zelda cartoon, and their sticking point was the animation, I would probably use this instead of Doppelganger.
Yeah, as good as Doppelganger is.
Yeah.
It was animated more roughly. So I think that's a fair.
But you do get the kiss jokes intermixed with some pretty clever jokes, so you get a little bit of both.
Yeah.
There's a couple things you could take away, a couple things you could perk up a little bit.
Yeah.
But like from what I've seen from the other episodes, I'd say it perfectly belongs in the canon of the Zelda cartoon.
But I mean, compared to freaking Cold Spells, where Link pretends to be sick to get out of chores, this is a real episode of Zelda.
Yeah.
That's sort of the left and right of the Zelda meter, is how much of it is an action adventure show and how much of it is a cartoon that's just a cartoon. But all right. Yeah, so we'd put it in sort of the top 4 area, I think. Yeah, they do that. All right. The voice cast, 3 people. We don't know who voiced the Vyres, probably Len Carlson, but it's Jonathan Potts as Link, Cynthia Preston as Zelda, Len Carlson as Ganon. And the writer was Bob Forward, who also was the main showrunner for the Zelda shorts specifically. And he previously wrote The Ringer, White Knight, Sing for the Unicorn, and Doppelganger with his sister Eve. So if you want to hear more about Bob Forward's other writing stuff, like how he's the Beast Wars guy, check out episode 1 and probably episode 4 or 5 of Zelda. Whichever one White Knight was. Was that the third one? Like podcast 15?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we go more into Bob Forward then to make up for how badly I did it in the first episode.
Yeah.
Which, that's a running theme this week. Okay, we don't
this
do
week, don't you mean like month and a half?
This recording session.
Okay.
People know how this works.
This recording session included episode 37 to episode 40.
Yes. So, ratings, which is another bit I definitely lifted from Jump on the Batwagon, except it's just the actual quality, not Batman's usefulness. But I still take the whole, take a funny thing from the episode or whatever. So, who wants to start with ratings?
I'd give it 7.9 fishless ponds out of 8.
It's a waste of your time if you're looking for fish, but it's good for everything else.
I'd give it 7.5 heart sun boxers.
Out of
a possible 10.
Yeah.
Out of 10?
It's always 10.
Oh, then I changed mine to 9.4.
Out of 10?
Out of 10.
Very good. What was your original top level?
I think it's 7.8 out of 8.
Ah. And I'd give the episode probably a... It's one of the ones I always enjoyed. And again, pairing it with the Mario short, the live action, shouldn't factor in. But it is one of the ones I watched the most off the box set. So I'd give it a solid 8. Ropes bleeding from the mouth on screen in a children's show out of 10. So.
Ropes bleeding from the mouth.
Yeah. And not in the way you'd think.
No.
It's letter time. It's letter time. Hey. All right. Mailbag time again. Aaron's back from vacation, and I'm back from being a lazy bastard. So,
to be
Aaron,
fair,
you got some...
I was also being a lazy bastard. On vacation.
Yeah, you paid for it.
No, I won it. It was free.
Oh, that's right.
All I had to do was get there.
Nice. You got some comments for us?
No, I don't have any comments, but other people do.
All right.
Let's start with Lanola Cola. On no April Fool's episode this year, but check out the one we did last year covering episode 16 of Sonic Boom, featuring Mayor M.E.M. Lanola Cola responded back with, Rise of Lyrics might have been a bust, but Sonic Boom is the bomb. And I would agree, Sonic Boom is pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree too. It's a great show.
Yeah.
And also, yes, the game is lousy.
We should 100%, start a podcast just reviewing Sonic Boom.
Like the show, you mean, still?
Yeah.
Okay, the way you said 100%, I was afraid you meant the game. Which would be fine, except that they patched out that infinite Knuckles jump. So I think that's the only patch they did for Sonic Boom on the Wii U.
And then we just have to play it at your place, because you're the one with the Wii U still.
I am. I wish it played Wii games, but it doesn't. It's one of those Wii U's that its Wii Drive doesn't work, but its Wii U Drive still does.
Yeah.
But at this point, I could probably just hack it and start loading Wii ROMs off of a drive plugged in the back, just like I do with my Wii. And GameCube games.
We do not recommend voiding your warranties. But if your warranty is already, voided, go hard. Do whatever. It's your console. Your thing.
Yeah. We live in a modern digital age where you definitely own the video games you buy.
Yes. Oh. You getting a Switch too?
I'm hoping to. Any other comments?
Another Lanola Cola. In case you missed it, new podcast episode, Sergeant Slaughter Epic Rap Battles. Now, I have to imagine G.I. Joe and Super Mario crossover upon seeing Sergeant Slaughter in the live-action segment. Alternatively, imagine if Jesse Ventura was the guest star instead of Sergeant Slaughter.
At that point, I don't think Jesse Ventura was a mayor yet. But, he did the Sonny Bono thing where he became mayor of a town. Yeah. And he was governor of something, I think, briefly, too. Anyway, I think if you crossed over the cartoon parts of G.I. Joe and Mario, that could be interesting. I think it would work better later on, because the Mario 3 cartoon would bring in the Koopalings, or as they call it, the Koopa Kids. And then Bowser would have a team with personalities, just like, the Cobra High Command with Cobra Commander and Destro and the Baroness and like Zartan, you know, have a stable of characters who could go against a G.I. Joe team. Maybe Sergeant Slaughter and his Marauders.
Okay, now hear me out. Alternative crossover, referring back to the last episode. What about Super Mario Street Fighter crossover?
That unlicensed Famicom ROM that we all played once when we downloaded all our NES ROMs for the first time?
Yes.
Where it's
but
like
no,
Princess
a TV
Peach's
series
Chun-Li?
based off of both of the TV series.
How do you mean?
I mean a crossover where Mario is in, I don't know, the land of fighting streets. And he has to team up with Guile, who hates guns.
Yeah, he does do that. I see what you mean. Like the Street Fighter cartoon, the Deke show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be interesting. And hey, they're Deke stablemates, so Inspector Gadget could pop by too.
Yeah.
To be unusually sarcastic. And his coat and hat are the wrong color because they're the only ones they had at the thrift store.
Well, what do? You don't have a costume department.
No. But no, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, or like you said, the idea of the Mario crew go to Street Fighter Land and have to stop Bison Koopa and his criminal organization of Shadow Coop. And they have to team up with some Street Fighters to fight them, but Mario and Luigi have to take the place of Ken and Ryu, who are they're out with dysentery because they got slimed by Arnold the Pig.
Okay, but would Princess Toadstool be Chun-Li or Cammy?
I would say Chun-Li's more likely if it's from the time frame. Now, I mean, again, this show predates Street Fighter 2 by a few years, so
yeah,
we have to stretch on this one. But I mean, I would say Chun-Li, if anyone.
And would Toad be Guile?
Yes. Or maybe
Dalsum.
He could be DJ and bring the party. Or no, bring the music to the party that be wanting it.
Yeah.
And he's already that short, so he doesn't have to shrink like DJ did.
Oh.
That's a cartoon we gotta rewatch sometime.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the list.
It is.
You know, we might not jump straight to Mario 3 when we're done this. We might do a different show.
You know, just give you guys a break.
Give us a break.
Yeah.
As much as I love ripping on the Mario cartoons.
It would be nice for us to be able to diversify our assets.
Yeah. Instead of making no money, we're making no money in several different piles.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Now enjoy this rap battle from John.
What?
Do a rap battle, John. You and me, right here, right now. We'll make no money off of it.
Then why put in no effort? Were there any other comments?
Yeah, there is 2 from Disco Cole. One off of George Washington Slept Here, which is, fun fact, Aaron slept with George Washington there. The wooden teeth weren't a deal breaker.
No, because you watched all those YouTube videos and learned everything about them.
Yeah. I had to find George Washington Slept Here, the Mario live-action bumper.
Yep.
And then, on Spotify, Cole, Disco Cole has said, it's Disco Cole.
It's the Cole that's in this episode you're listening to already. That Cole.
Yeah. Exactly. It's Disco Cole, and I'm here to say groovy beats are here to stay. Popping on the floor, girls begging for more. Give that record a spin. We're here to win. Beating hearts run. This dance stuff is fun. Composed. It's DANCIBG.
Oh, okay. Yes, I see it now.
I'm sorry, if you have a spelling error, I'm going to pronounce the misspelling.
Hey, I always do it.
Yeah. This has been composed on the throne.
Thank you, Cole, for hitting us where we live.
In the dancing begin.
Yeah. We're dancing in the street.
Yeah. But we're not dancing alone.
No, or with ourselves.
Yeah.
All right. Was that it for comments?
Unless we have Dr. Derps.
Well, those are emails.
Well, do we have emails?
We do. We got a couple of them to catch up on, so... All right, first one from Dr. Derp. Bad rap / caught in a draft, or Club Mario hell. Lights up on Super Mario Brothers plumbing at the break of day. Some earworm is stuck in my head and won't go away. I'm not ready for today, chasing whippersnappers off my lawn. My mind is still yawning. John and Aaron, good morning. It wasn't formatted very well, or I would have realized it was supposed to be more rhyming as I went. Yeah. And that's not Dr. Derp. That's the way my phone shows emails.
Yeah.
Thoughts on Caught in a Draft? Warn all the slackers, Sergeant Slaughter is back in town. Feels like forever since we last saw him hanging round. Seems like nobody this time will be steamed except for me. Could our guest please bully the cartoon into taking leave? Takes a strong communicator to speak in vocal whisper. Never seen such skill from Dan Pollock, the listener. Not much to say unless you dig military training and marching limericks. Sergeant Slaughter's boisterous presence elevates this above the precedent. Okay, I think we're done rhyming. That's why I was reading it so weird. Given the choice between the now and then, I'd rather see Mario's shrunken head. Now a spin-off about Ratigator in the military? Should be an experience wonderful and merry. Bottom of the top third, I'd say. Now let's watch the cartoon and spoil this day. So I was wrong.
Definitely bottom of the top third.
Yeah. Thoughts on bad rap? Ugly backgrounds, jerry-rigged rhymes, the cringe express has arrived on time. A parody ripped straight out of 1989 as cliched youths step in sync and toe the line. Full of awkward pauses and blundersome pacing, what kind of cursed production am I facing? The piffling prose has no rhythm, no roll. I refuse to believe it can mind control. It makes me want to ramble, rave, and rant. Do the writers know nothing of some tasteful slant? King Koopa's drip is an embarrassment to behold. His dignity has been bartered, bought, and sold. Even by standards common, lowered, and tempered, this cartoon's babblings an inane, immature whimper. A simpering slog through sour, slimy sewer stink that not even the Marios can dismiss with a cheeky wink. Smile and satire can barely tell how awful this trip is through Club Mario hell. Animation quality's surprisingly okay, but wasted on this trite, I do dare say. Credit where it's due, the backing track is snazzy. Such a shame this cartoon is deserving of a Razzie. Call the Super Show a guilty pleasure if you must, but its beat machine has earned my time-tested trust. R.I.P. that backing track... Oh, no. Rip that backing track straight out of this show. Give it to Neil... somebody so my mind can be blown. Sixiariga? No idea. Sorry. Silva Gunner does wonders, like a champion's journey. I miss the days of the Kings for a Day tourney. Now, Silva Gunner I do recognize. Here's the nicest comment I have to speak. The Super Mario's transition's a harmless squeak. I wouldn't mess around with electrical cords, but at least the photosensitive were given a chord. Oh yeah, we forgot in the episode, Aaron, to talk about where Mario pulls that giant plug out of a giant socket.
Oh yeah.
We just completely forgot to mention it. The cover song choice offered some reprieve, an R&B classic as anyone can see. But if hip-hop literacy's the matter at hand, the true victors are the show's ragtime band. And I'm speaking as a meager classic rock head. Any fool can see these lyrics aren't gold, but lead. A musical premise is too precious to waste. All this does for me is leave a sour taste. Favorite joke. Well, Koopa, this time you're through. One false move and we'll sit on you. Unintentional foreshadowing. What do you want me to say? This cartoon's 8th rate. The count remains at 65 to date. Updated top 5? Do we have to ask this about bad rap? It deserves only a backhanded Batman slap. Boot this chump to the tier so uncivilized. I won't be tolerating Dan Reba's alibis. Question of the week. I dare you to summarize your favorite tune in rhyme. Unlike bad rap, it'll be a good time. Resort to Yoda speak if you must. Do or do not. There is no Dagobah or bust. I'll meet you next time in the fields of Hyrule. I gotta drag the writers back to grammar school. Woo.
That was good.
I don't have the clap button, but I'd hit it if I did.
Yeah.
So instead, you'll have to settle for a crisp, good job. And I couldn't even rhyme that.
Hold on.
Very good. We already did our sync points. Thank you.
Now insert the Shia LaBeouf clap from there, from the Shia LaBeouf song.
No thanks.
Oh.
I don't know that well enough anyway.
I actually don't think I can. I'm not good at freestyle.
No?
No.
Well, let's see. So the question is, summarize your favorite tune. I don't know if he means favorite tune of the Super Show or just in general.
Let's do just in general.
Okay. That actually broadens the scope in a way that I wasn't prepared for, because I do not... If you were to ask me, gun to my head, what my favorite cartoon is, that might depend on the day of the week.
It's Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
That's a movie. But I guess Batman the Animated Series would be up there.
It's a cartoon movie.
Yeah. Well, what's yours?
Invincible, currently?
Let's see. I'm trying to think. What's one? I bought the DVD and I watched incessantly. Oh, there's going to be a lot of dead air to cut out of this one.
I know. I'm sorry, Dr. Derp.
Back.
I'm sorry, Dr. Derp. I'm copping out of this because I know I'm going to be bad. And not the Michael Jackson song.
And I'm going to leave my office for 1 second to look at my DVD shelf and pick one to rap about. Okay, I'm back. Looking at my DVD shelf, I think I would try to do the classic cartoon, especially up here, Reboot. Now I'm going to need another extended break while I think of a rhyme. I guess I should probably stop wasting time. Reboot's a show that was done on computers. It may have aged badly, but I think it's super. There's a guardian named Bob and his two best friends fighting off viruses, and the games never end. The show gets a lot darker as it goes on, but unfortunately the last season doesn't catch the baton. It's overall great, and I'm really looking forward to the HD remaster that's currently being made. That's it.
He did it exactly how the show went. Solid, fall flat.
Yep. Like, I don't hate season 4 of Reboot, but it has some weird stumbling, and this is, I don't know if it's because it's the era it was from. I don't like almost any of the game parodies in season 4.
I do have a question, though. Does Reboot qualify as a video game cartoon?
I would say no. But, it's in the consideration. But no, it's not a cartoon. It's not a licensed video game character-based cartoon. Let's say that. So there you go. I'll have to snip this together into something a little better. And you're definitely not going to try anything?
I can't even think of how I would do it.
I am not
a wordsmith like John is.
And that's a low bar. All right, we got another one from Dr. Derp, of course. Underworld Connections / I knew I was going to say detective. Underworld Connections / Defective Gadgetry, or would you believe this guest stars Don Adams? How about the Orson Welles mouse from Animaniacs? Hey, John and Aaron, time to return to Hyrule at last. But first, there's a more special than usual guest at Mario Brothers Plumbing today. Thoughts on Defective Gadgetry? I actually have an interesting history with Inspector Gadget. I grew up with the live-action films and only recently got into the cartoons by proxy of the Deke, Mario, and Sonic cartoons. Well, that makes sense. All the Deke DVDs from back in the day would always have ads for Inspector Gadget, or have Inspector Gadget tell you how to use the menus. Anyway. Case in point, I'll always think of Don Adams as Maxwell Smart first, Inspector Gadget second. Of course, it's Maurice Lamarche guest starring as the inspector here, who nails the physical as well as vocal Don Adams impression and absolutely needs no introduction to longtime animation fans. Oh, then you better have already skipped the part of this episode where we talk about him for 20 minutes. It's a very simple sketch. The Marios play Operation on Inspector Gadget to mixed results. It's the shots of Inspector Gadget in the flesh that truly make this special. Thoughts on Underworld Connections? Well, the opening action beat is memorable. Jeez. Sorry, I'm a little gummed up. Well, 3, 2, 1. Well, the Oh my god, it's gone again. Well, the opening action beat is memorable enough. It's no Sing for the Unicorn. On paper, this is a solid hook that naturally borrows from the premise of the original NES game. Instead of protecting the Triforce of Wisdom, why not journey into the underworld to retrieve its pieces? The end result comes across as a little vanilla to me after all we've seen from the Zelda tune up to this point, but the comedic hijinks and banter are on point and leagues above episodes like Cold Spells.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely. Yet in spite of the comedic chops and gorgeous animation, something about this feels stilted compared to the other Zelda tunes. It's very much just a series of incidents tied together by the shoestring overarching plot. As strange as Sing for the Unicorn's big reveal was, it at least kept the episode focused. If I didn't know any better, I would have chalked this up to being a bunch of unused ideas from other episodes reworked into one last outing. Then again, from what I know of this show's development and the talent invited to work on Fairies in the Spring, it wouldn't be that big a shock if this was a last-minute concept built off of unused ideas. Favorite moment? Honestly, more than any individual action beat, the highlights of this episode to me are the one-liners. No wonder I never caught any fish here, probably being my personal favorite, followed closely by the "Excuse me, princess, into the water." I've missed these from the Mario cartoon. So I'll take that again. I've missed these from the Mario cartoon. As for the conventional action bits, though, I love seeing Link fight the snakes and the Aquamentus. Yeah, especially when the snakes start bleeding. Unintentional foreshadowing. With all the iconography borrowed from the NES game, it's hard to suss out any material, if any, that doesn't appear in the games until installments later. Did I already cover shield surfing? No? It's going on the counter. 17 to date. Updated top 5? Honestly, the live-action rapper left a bigger impression on me than the Zelda cartoon this time around. That hasn't happened since Slime Busters. Defective Gadgetry is both my favorite rapper to date and cracks the bottom of my Yop 10. Question of the week. Which fictional character would you invite to guest star on the podcast? Besides Inspector Gadget, I can imagine Long John Baldry's Dr. Robotnik as a fun guest, especially for an episode where Koopa looks ridiculous. We return to the Wild West next time. See you then.
Coach Z.
Coach Z. From homestarrunner.net, it's .com.
Yes.
Or as some of you kids only ever knew it as, Strong Bad or Trogdor. Yes, that would be something. Hey there, boys. I came to watch this Mario cartoon with you. My Coach Z is a little stilted because my throat is a little rough today. It's supposed to be higher up. You know, when you're talking about King Koopa, you're talking about me. Because King Koopa's a good guy, and I'm worse.
Oh,
but anyway, yeah. Okay, so Coach Z, apropos of nothing. Yeah, Long John Baldry's Dr. Robotnik would be hilarious.
Or...
And then we could cut our podcast
Gordon.
into... From which cartoon?
The 60s. Live action.
Okay.
Because it just says fictional.
Oh, it does just say fictional. Interesting. I immediately go to cartoon. That would be something. Well, what do you think, Commissioner Gordon without a mustache?
I think I need to call Batman.
I was just going to say.
Oh.
But, let's see, a fictional character. Dun, 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 and it just turns into an episode of Batman.
Yes. Yes, please.
Holy podcasting, Batman. These guys getting almost no views. Precisely, Robin. That's why we're here. Let's see. I'm trying to think. So now I got stuck on Coach Z. Especially if you watch
on purpose.
Thank you. Yeah, because in some of the Strong Bad Email DVD commentaries, which are on YouTube if you search for it, it's like a 10-hour supercut. Coach Z does a few commentaries, and Matt does a good job as Coach Z as watching himself in a cartoon.
Hey, look, a locker room.
Don't turn it on. You ain't got a locker room no more. But...
Oh.
I don't know. Without Mike Chapman to bounce off of, I don't know if Coach Z would be nearly as funny.
I think with us to bounce off of, it would be
Maybe.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Because we'd just be like fangirling.
It's true. Yeah, Long John Baldry's Dr. Robotnik. It'd just be fun because we could cut up our podcast into a bunch of YouTube poops.
Oh.
Where Tails is Robotnik's adoptive son. That's a deep cut, but those who know. Okay, I do have to pick a fictional character, provided I don't get sidetracked again. And they gotta be on the podcast with us and do the segments and watch and review the cartoon. Again.
Bob from Reboot?
Just go back to Reboot.
Matrix from Reboot.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Oh.
But no, let's see. A fictional character who I think would be a good guest on this podcast where we talk about the Mario cartoon. Who's like that kind of character in a fictional setting who would like already know some of this stuff? Or is this sort of character who would show up on a podcast?
Hold up. I have another one for you. Mario.
Just
from
Mario.
The Mario cartoon. The live action Mario.
Like Captain Lou Mario?
Yes.
That could be fun. And then halfway through he leaves so his mother can join us.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then he leaves again so that Captain Lou Albano can join us. Oh.
And then he leaves so that his aunt can join us.
Yeah, Aunt Louigina. Or, no. Marianne, that's it. That's not the first time I've done that. Yeah, that could be fun. Or, movie Mario.
Which movie?
The modern movie, the Chris Pratt one. Because it could be like, okay, this is a bit of a roundabout thing. On the DVD for The Incredibles, they show clips of this really crappy cartoon in universe that was made starring Mr. Incredible and Frozone.
Yes.
And it looks like Clutch Cargo, where it's still pictures and like actual mouths being photographed. But on the DVD, they do a commentary of it with the actors, including who voiced Mr. Incredible? I can never remember.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Mr. Incredible. Bob Parr?
Yeah, him. Who played him?
Let's see. Craig T. Nelson?
Okay.
Nelson?
Craig T. Nelson. And then, of course, Frozone was Sam Jackson. And they're watching it, and all of a sudden Sam Jackson's like, wait a minute, I'm white. They made me a white guy. Maybe the prince faded. Oh, yeah, that's worth looking up sometime. It is so funny. But anyway, yeah, it'd be like that. Say, movie Mario, modern movie Mario. It's like, oh, this is a cartoon they made out of your adventures when you went to the Mushroom Kingdom. And be like, none of this happened.
Oh.
There, that's my overly convoluted answer. Because I am not good at my off-the-cuff today. We're a little rusty.
Yeah, we are. It's because we recorded so many episodes back to back to back to back, then left a gap, and then we skipped our mailbag that keeps us fresh.
That's true. And we didn't do any improv to loosen up.
No. And we didn't expect a rap battle.
That's true, too.
Or a rap-off.
Although, you know what?
Contest.
We probably should have.
100% we should have.
Well, the thing is,
I am impressed with Dr. Derp. Thank you for that rap email that you so elegantly composed.
Yeah, you put way more effort into this than we did, and we appreciate it. The thing is, I don't want to read the emails before we do the recording, because I think that robs it. But in this case, that might have helped.
Yeah.
If we already know what the question of the week is before we do the mailbag, we might have an answer. Oh, well, maybe we'll do better next time. So, back to the episode. Warp pipe sound. Oh, no, it's a Zelda episode. The warp whistle sound.
Warp something sound.
Warp 7.
If you want to reach out to the podcast, you can do so by emailing us at theanimatedarcade@gmail.com.
Leave a comment on the YouTube version of the episode.
You can reach out to us on Twitter X at @animatedarcade.
And on Blue Sky, Facebook, and
TikTok
at The Animated Arcade. The only reason we're not The Animated Arcade on Twitter is because of the character limit. And Cole, do you have anything that you wish to be found for at all? Do you have any kind of online presence you wish to share? If not, no problem.
I am an ancient elder of the hipster. I'm an elder millennial.
Mm-hmm.
I know not what I do. I know that I only set trends, and that's about it. I do this all entirely without the internet.
Do not look for him as the elder millennial.
No, you'll probably find someone else.
Oh, no. I'm not the elder. I'm one of the 85.
All right. Well, usually I give this to Aaron, but I'm going to give it to both of you. You guys are going to predict what happens in the next episode.
All right.
Do you want to split it or just both give your opinions?
I think both give opinions on each one.
Okay, Cole, starting with you. The live action segment is Toupee.
Toupee. Ooh.
Talk about a bad hair day.
Yeah, I'm thinking a toupee. Well, usually a lot of the Mario Brothers antics is upsetting the expectations of a customer. So I'm getting the feeling a customer comes in with some immediate toupee malfunction that the Mario Brothers use their ingenuity to correct in a very unconventional manner. That's kind of my take on it. A single word title.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
It's not like, it's not guest stars Toupee. Yeah, that would have given it away a little easier. All right, Aaron, what about you?
It's William Shatner.
Oh, I was going to do that.
It's...
Okay, well then for me, because I don't know either. Go ahead.
You can always guess William Shatner as well.
Yeah. No, maybe someone's toupee gets switched with that walking clog monster puppet.
Oh.
Yeah. Somehow.
Well,
or
wasn't that a gag that happened with the one inspector, the health inspector that came through, and there was like a hair tonic or something? Or maybe I'm thinking about
maybe
something
that's
that
this and we haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
Unless you're referring to one that we've mentioned. There was the plant grow formula that turned into that guy in the ghillie suit.
You know what? I might have watched ahead.
Well, yeah, there was hair on it.
Somebody's actually watching ahead of the podcast.
It's kind of fucked up, I'm not going to lie.
It's because you have a kid.
Yeah, you probably just had random episodes.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, hey, that's all right. Sometimes I have an inkling what's coming next. Not this time. Thanks to having to look up Zelda stuff, I didn't immediately have the name and stuff of next Mario episode in the column next to it. Okay, here we go. The cartoon. Now, this... we've had spoiled for us by thumbnails, and we've even referenced how the title is sometimes wrong. The Mark of Zero.
It's The Mark of Zorro.
Yeah, on Amazon Prime, they actually just call the title The Mark of Zorro. It's like, whoops.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it's going to be a Zorro parody. Hopefully it's not another city episode. I hope it's a real mushroom Zorro. And will Mario end up taking their place like he did with Sherlock Holmes?
It's Toad this time.
You think Toad's going to become Zorro? Zero?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's time for a win.
Oh, yeah. Luigi is Antonio Banderas. I've made that comparison before. Okay, well, if that's it, I'm John.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Disco Cole.
And always remember, this is the Animated Arcade, and the airwaves
are our waves.
So until next time, everybody,
do the Mario!
Thanks for listening to the Animated Arcade. Our theme song is After School Keyboard Club by Xennial, sourced from freemusicarchive.org. Our logo and thumbnail art is done by Shell, who you can follow on Instagram at YourMidnightCrafter. The cover songs from the Mario-themed episodes are sourced from the Super Mario Bros. Super HQ channel on YouTube. These links, as well as the music used in our Zelda-themed episodes and all of our social media accounts, are found in the description.
Well,
unless you come to our Q&A, then stay.
We're not voice actors.
Oh, yeah. Me and Aaron were at a legendarily awkward Q. Were you there, too?
I think so.
Was it Neil Adams?
Oh, I was...
No,
I was at that event, but I wasn't there for that one.
Not Neil Adams.
Adams O'Neill.
Oh, yeah, Adams O'Neill.
No,
Neil Adams.
Neil Adams and Denny O'Neill, but Denny O'Neill was the writer. Neil Adams is the artist.
And it was mostly to kind of like pump up his kids' comic.
Yeah.
They had a shared presentation, and Aaron, the bold, intrepid guy he stands up and he asks a question about the Arrow TV series that had just been lighting up, and that comic convention was like the first one where they couldn't go on the floor.
Yeah.
Because like the year before, I think the cast of Arrow went to that convention while they were in production, and they took all these fun little promotional pictures. This was the first year after that aired. So Arrow was on the tip of lots of guys cosplaying it. So, of course, Aaron says, well, how do you
were
feel?
one of those lots of guys.
Oh, yeah. I was one of those lots of guys. There's something cool about, like, sneaking around and shooting people with a bow.
Yeah.
I did it in Skyrim for, like, 9,000 hours. I don't see why I wouldn't do it in my comic book fantasy.
I was dressed up as Captain
No, you were... Oh, was that
Captain
the
Marvel? No. What was it? From...
was that? Did you have with that black wig?
Yeah, the black wig.
Yeah, that's Captain Marvelous from which Sentai series? The one that got turned into the back half of Megaforce.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, to round up the little story, so Aaron asks, is like, so how do you feel about the showrunners naming a couple streets after you and your co-writer when you did the Emerald Crusaders thing, or the Green Arrow, Green Lantern thing? He's like, and his response was, "Where's my money?" And then he goes on into he explains his, like, "Where's my money?" thing. He's like, because he spent years and years
after insulting my costume.
Yeah. Yes. Although
Rest in peace.
Aaron was totally pulling off that black wig.
Oh yeah.
Like it just belonged.
Oh, I know. Did you ever see the picture I took because I was in my 5th Doctor costume one of those years, and I went to get a tattoo at the event, and I give him my hat and my coat, and all of a sudden, okay, he looks way more like Peter Davison as the Doctor than I ever did. It's like, God, that is insulting.
So we've all been there.
Yeah. You're either a great costume guy or just a hell of a coat rack.
Or you ask the question that makes the speaker blurt out, "Where's my money?"
Yeah.
I've seen that happen in real life.
So have I.
Yeah.
But to his credit, like, his whole career was going through and winning legal battles to get creators for old Silver Age and Golden Age comics compensated for, because like lots of the time, like especially with Batman and Superman, the original creators were more or less, or the accredited creators kind of came about it in fishy ways. So like,
or Bill Finger didn't even get the credit.
Yeah. And so from his point of view, that was a good stepping off point to go on a spiel about how the old comic creators weren't being treated properly. So no matter what context Aaron's in, he's always throwing it to somebody.
Yeah.